Welcome back to YouTube and to the Mobile Gaming Fight Club. I will be your host today, and throughout the next 5 minutes, I will be rambling on about the 5 most interesting games I played last week to give you a quick overview of the Android and iOS games you may have missed. But first, some ground rules. The first rule of Fight Club is you always share the Mobile Gaming Fight Club with all of your friends. The second rule of the Fight Club is that you always hit the notification bell, subscribe, or leave a like to indicate your dedication to mobile gaming. So with those ground rules out of the way, and a quick reminder that Fight Club is an amazing movie and you should go watch it right now. Well, after this video. If you haven't, then let's get on with it. So this week's episode will include a new high-quality Battle Royale game with parkour wall climbing, which is really awesome by the way, a beautiful adventure platformer by the developers of Leo's Fortune, a casual turn-based strategy game that can be played both offline and online, an incremental RPG with 3D graphics, and lastly, a new MOBA brawler that plays like a mix between Brawl Stars and Clash Royale. So now, let's get to the first game. Oddmar is an amazing new platforming adventure game from the Leo's Fortune developers with fantastic level designs full of hidden treasures and a non-obtrusive control mechanism with no on-screen buttons. The physics-based puzzles and platforming challenges in this game are difficult, but perfectly balanced with the checkpoints that allow us to spawn infinitely. The game isn't exactly punishing. In the Android version of this game, the first 6 levels are free to play, and they introduce us to our struggling Viking character called Oddmar, with the rest of the story and 24 levels then unlocked through a $5 in-app purchase. On iOS, the game is a premium game right from the start. The game is offline playable, it takes up 553 megabytes of space, it's out on Android and on iOS, and if you have any love in your life for platforming adventure games, then dang it Patrick, you gotta give this one a go. Cyber Hunter is a new Battle Royale game from NetEase with high-quality graphics, parkour-like forward movement jumps and wall climbing, and a casual version of Fortnite's building system, which allows us to quickly deploy a vehicle, a tower, and other defensive structures, or even a healing drone. The game plays very smoothly, and the character customization is surprisingly in-depth, and in addition to the many settings also found in other Battle Royale games, Cyber Hunter has an auto-shoot feature, which I personally liked as it made the game easier to get into, but I know that some of you strongly dislike it, even though you can of course just turn it off if you don't want to play with it. Just like pretty much every other Battle Royale game out there, the game monetizes purely through cosmetics from loot boxes and then a Fortnite-like battle pass system, so the multiplayer at least is completely fair in this game. The game requires online access and it will set you back 1.9 gigabyte of space. It's available on Android and iOS in a few regions at this point, with a global release coming soon-ish. We have no final date for that, but my final verdict at this point is that if you're looking for a Battle Royale game that is more fast-paced than PUBG Mobile, but less advanced than Fortnite, then definitely check out Cyber Hunter and you most likely won't be disappointed. My Little Fantasy Healing RPG is a brand new 3D incremental game that, unlike traditional idle and clicker games, don't allow us to progress when the game is closed, and clicking the screen only temporarily increases the attack speed of our heroes instead of directly dealing direct damage. As long as the game is open on your smartphone, it will play itself automatically though, with the active parts of the gameplay then including upgrading our heroes and equipment, using skills and completing missions, and even participating in boss fights, until eventually we reset everything to receive a special currency that we then use to increase our strength, allowing us to progress faster and further, hopefully at least, the next time around. The game is definitely well made, but my main complaint about this game is that despite being single player, it isn't offline playable. There's no overall DPS counter, which I found kinda weird as well, and although there are multiple interesting heroes, only 2 of them can be used during combat at a time. The game requires online access, it takes up 281 megabytes of space, it's out both on Android and iOS, and my verdict on the game is that if you like incremental games and you're looking for a new one where the time between each reset is relatively short, then you should give My Little Fantasy a go, as it might just be your kind of game. Tanks a Lot is not just a joke and pun so bad that I could have made it, but it's also a MOBA tank shooter with real-time 3v3 multiplayer brawl matches, with short play sessions and lots of weapons and bases for our tanks to unlock and upgrade through a loot box and card system. The core gameplay feels exactly like a mix between Brawl Stars and Clash Royale. First of all, the gameplay is fun, the tuning graphics look great, and the controls work perfectly pretty much. But we're definitely fighting against bots in the majority of the early matches in this game, and without a guild system through which we can send cards to each other, it takes a very long time to upgrade the weapons we want to use, which pushes players towards the premium loot boxes that sadly make the game pay to win. It's a real shame since the core gameplay is really spot on. Just like any other online game, you of course need a constant internet connection to play this game. It takes up 231 megabytes of space. It's available on Android and iOS, and my verdict is that you should consider giving it a go, as the core gameplay is great, and with a proper guild system, the pay to win will probably be decreased at least a tiny bit, probably to the point where it might be enjoyable to play even as a free-to-play user. Polytopia, or rather the Battle of Polytopia as the game is actually called, is a casual turn-based world-building strategy game with short play sessions, single and local and online multiplayer, and randomly generated maps that keeps the game interesting. After starting a new game by selecting one of 14 different leaders, the goal in Polytopia's main game mode is to defeat all opponents or score the most points in just 30 turns by expanding our kingdom, researching new technologies, and preparing an army for combat. In order to play online multiplayer in this game, you have to buy any of the $1 to $3 leaders, because only 4 of them are free, and that's then gonna unlock the multiplayer, and it's also the only way that the game monetizes, which is honestly a perfect way to monetize. You can play the game for absolutely free, single player and local multiplayer, but if you want to play online, you have to support the developers. The game can be played offline. It takes up only 65 megabytes of space, so it's a really small game. It's out on Android and on iOS, and soon PC as well, by the way. And if you enjoy strategy games but often find them a bit too intimidating, then Polytopia's casual strategy gameplay is perfect, and it's my favorite game of the week. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know which game was your favorite. Don't forget about Fight Club. And until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.